Hi, everyone. I'm Erica Flint, and this is Living Hypnotically, where we explore the application and benefit of hypnosis with professional hypnotists. And today we have an exciting guest, Olivia Barahal from Los Angeles, California. She's a hypnotherapist, she's a comedian, and she is fantastic. Olivia, great to have you here today.
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it is an honor to have you here today. It's just great to hear of all of the people that you're helping in Los Angeles. Now, you graduated from our training program in July of last year. And since then, you've been helping people with the power of hypnosis in Los Angeles. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What that was like getting started with your practice?
Yeah, that was a really exciting time. So I finished the program and, as advertised, just started practicing immediately, working
Good
with people
job.
on things such as sleep disturbances, compulsive spending, all of those behaviors. And what was really awesome to learn and to find out once I started practicing was just how individual each person is and how much you can learn from every one of your clients. And also just the effectiveness of this and the rapidity with which you can make incredible changes. So it was a really cool time.
Can you talk a little bit about the excess spending? I haven't had that as a
Mm.
client presenting issue. I don't know that's ever come into my office before. Can you address that a little?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much about this client because they haven't signed any sort of release, but they are someone I'm really proud of on
Yeah.
multiple levels because they're a really wonderful person. But as a hypnotherapist, they're one of my prides and joys because they, after 3 sessions, they called and they said, I'm really loving hypnotherapy and I feel like it's really helping me, but I feel like I'm spending too much on this. And so I think I'm really trying to save money. I'm not going to do any more sessions. Yeah. Look at you go.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
they stopped their spending. They're like, I don't really feel like I need to be spending this money right now. And I was really proud. I was like, that is exactly what we were trying to do. So
good
they were
job.
like a 3 session client. And that's my goal always is I don't want people to be spending all of their money on me, seeing me constantly, unless there's work that really needs to be done over a long period of time. If what someone wants is results, that's what I'm here to help them achieve in as quick a time period as we can get it.
And you said that you learned something from your clients too, because each
Oh,
was so
yeah.
individual. Can you share some of
Mm.
that?
I actually have a recent experience with a client on this that I think really shows everything that I believe about this work, which is that our subconscious minds are screaming out for the work that they really need done. We know everything that we need, maybe just don't know it in our conscious mind. So I had a young woman come to me and she wanted to do a past life regression. And that is work that I did after Cascade hypnosis. And I love doing past life regressions. And she told me her presenting issue, which was a recurring dream that was waking her up every night. And I told her, I think this might be something that inner child work would be more helpful for. And she said, no, I don't want to do inner child work. I am not ready to revisit my childhood. I can't go there. So I want to see if we can do this in a past life regression. I was like, okay, I'm not going to force you to do something you don't want to do. Just know that past life regression, nothing's an easy way out. We're going to be probing, we're going to be experiencing things. So we start a past life regression. We go there. She's doing great. She almost immediately hits a wall. She can't really go any further. I pull her out of the past life regression. We're in a more neutral hypnotic state. And I just tell her, you're going to go into this library of your subconscious and you're going to open a book. Whatever's in that book is what we need to address today. And of course, it was a core memory from her childhood. I said, do you feel comfortable doing this with me? Do I have your consent to proceed with doing inner child work? She was crying. She was like, yeah, I need to do this. And we gave that little girl a voice. And that, I would say, is what I have learned from really working with people and the difference between just like doing things in school in that setting and actually being there is like the individual is the truth and what they need. They know what they need. We're just there to guide them to realize that themselves.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Really good job. And I love how you didn't reject her sense of it at the beginning and proceeded with what she felt comfortable with. And then apparently at some point she realized that was the work she needed to do and somehow felt comfortable once she was there with you
Hmm.
and had
Yeah.
changed her mind.
And that's the power of the hypnotic state. And I'm sure you've seen this as well, is when people are in their subconscious minds, not that they're different people, but really their wisdom comes out. Their own self-knowledge really shines. And it's incredible and a huge honor to talk to people in that space. So in your day-to-day conscious mind, you might be like, I can't go there. And then once you've gotten rid of that ego, you find that going there feels like exactly what needs to be done.
Yeah, I love.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we quiet the thinking mind, we depotentiate the left hemisphere, we get rid of the noise or the chaos. Lots of different ways to describe the experience of hypnosis, but we know that the brain is likely to be in an alpha or a theta predominant brainwave, and there's different information that exists in that brainwave length. So
Mhm.
there, our clients do become, they get access to that information, right? It's always been there. But the chaos of everyday living, often in a beta brainwave, keeps people from noticing it
Mhm.
and adhering to it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me ask you about your experience becoming a professional hypnotist. Because when we were talking earlier, you said it was quite easy for you to get your clients when you first graduated. And I know a lot of people would be happy to hear that. Could you describe what it was that you did to help that process going from what we call classroom to client? How did you go about doing that?
I'm going to bring in another part of my life because I actually think my experience as a comedian was
Hmm.
completely invaluable for that.
Yeah.
I'm an improviser. So I
Hmm.
think that gave me a lot of confidence right
Yeah.
off the bat in being able to say, I can handle these experiences.
Yeah.
And I don't need a script and I don't need someone over my shoulder because I trust my own subconscious brain to
Nice.
handle myself in these situations where anything could happen.
I
And
love
I
that.
also have experience working in the recovery world. I
Hmm.
teach improv at rehab centers, at mental health centers. I work with veterans, I work with teenagers. So I think I did go out of Cascade Hypnosis with a lot of confidence. And I think that really helped draw people in.
Yeah, good job. Really good job. I like to say to our students and grads, you're already a great hypnotist. You really are. You're already a
Mhm.
great hypnotist. It brought you here. And we have students come who are teachers, they are professionals, business
Mm.
professionals, and whatever skill you bring with you becomes valuable. Like I was a software developer beforehand. That's
Mhm.
definitely been useful in my practice, right? So we get to
Yeah.
use our previous skill and then we get to add the benefit of hypnosis to that. So I just think it's really fun to combine our skills, like with your combining, your love of helping people in recovery with comedy, and now the really awesome effective hypnosis, right?
Yeah. And I will say, I want to shout out you and your teaching, Erica, because I did a second school after Cascade where I learned a whole different toolkit of techniques, where I learned past life regression, inner life work, spirit releasement, all of these really different things. And every other person in my program was a licensed therapist. And
Wow.
I was the only one who was coming at this with more of a life experience perspective of
Yeah.
having worked in recovery and of having gone to another hypnotherapy school. And I really felt like I was able to do it. And I, in
Good.
fact, felt I had a lot of tools that I was able to share. I hope that anyone who's watching this who wants to work in a helping field and maybe worries that they haven't taken the right path in life, just
Hmm.
living life, being out there, gaining experiences, and even being out of the academic world and just being in the arena, you learn so much and just allow yourself to learn and don't feel that you're not qualified because maybe you haven't done things by the book. I think hypnotherapy is an amazing field.
Yeah, I agree. Can you tell us a technique that you like to share with your clients? I'd love to hear something that you find useful. We called it the emotional acceptance technique.
Right.
Now, you can change it. You don't have to call it that. I don't
I
want
love
you
it.
to have to feel.
I have a technique that I've been doing with clients that I call the emotional acceptance technique. And this is a really powerful one, especially I'm finding for my clients, for whatever reason, I find that a lot of people who come and see me struggle with people pleasing and they struggle with feeling like there's space for their own emotions in their relationships and their friendships and their family dynamics. So when they come to see me, I find they're apologizing for their emotions a lot. They're trying to hide them. And we need to digest these. We need to feel them. We need to allow them to be. So, what I have them do is in a closed eye state, in a hypnotic state, and this can be done really early in the induction, I encourage them to allow their emotions to be, to notice those emotions in their body, to notice where that anxiety lives, how it feels, to notice where that grief is, to notice where the joy is or the relaxation is, to just notice all of it and to just accept it and to just let it be without any judgment whatsoever. and to
I
just
love that.
notice how it changes with just letting it be.
And if
That's
we can sit through an experience like that without the nervous system getting triggered and having an
Mhm.
anxious response or something like that,
Yeah.
because neuroscientists tell us now that feelings only last for 15 seconds.
I do this technique, so I do group hypnotherapy in recovery settings. So I'll go for people who are in recovery for substance abuse or complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And in a group session, you are a little more limited in what you can do. So I found that creating this space of just letting the feelings be and allowing them to pass has been a really cool thing. So you
Good
don't
job.
need me or Erica there facilitating you through that. That is something we can all just do on our own, and I really encourage it.
Yeah, it's about accepting those feelings and
Hmm.
being okay with them, that they're there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And
Um,
acceptance is such a big part of hypnotherapy. And knowing that there's nothing wrong with you for feeling these feelings. There's also nothing wrong with you for having the behaviors that have been programmed via these subconscious thoughts. I think hypnotherapy really encourages that lack of judgment, that non-judgment. And that's really changed my life in so many ways. So I'm very
oh,
grateful
so
for it. I think for me, I always really struggled with wanting to be a comedian and really wanting to be a helper and be someone who worked in the mental health world and the recovery world. I felt like these were parts of me that I couldn't reconcile, that I couldn't
mm.
be all of those things. I was not able to own both of these parts of myself until I became a hypnotherapist. And I do think it was that
Oh,
reprogramming of the brain more than
yeah.
anything else, where I was like, it's okay to be a part of all of these worlds, to bring all of these skills together, and to say really proudly, I'm a comedian and I am a hypnotherapist. And I love to access my own flow state and my own creative mind and my own subconscious for me. And I love to be able to help people too. And all of that can exist.
Good job.
Oh,
Super
thanks, Erica.
inspiring. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And we know that when people see others up on stage, or they might see a comedy show, or they might hear you say something, a lot of people want to know the hypnotist. So the saying is people aren't afraid of hypnosis, they're afraid of the hypnotist. And so we
Hmm.
want to put ourselves out there as much as possible so that people feel
Yeah.
safe and comfortable. So if you're feeling safe and comfortable putting yourself out there, then other people are going to be more likely to use hypnosis, try hypnosis, and work with you, right?
Yeah, and I think it's being able to laugh about it and laugh about the stigmas around it, I found really helpful in demystifying it a little bit for
Right.
people because we all know you tell someone you're a hypnotist, oh, are you gonna make me bark like a dog? And it's if you want to spend $250 to do that,
Right.
sure.
There more therapeutic things that my clients want me
Uh,
to help them with.
uh,
Yeah.
but you know what I always tell people when they're like, "Oh, isn't hypnosis like scary, weird? Are you trying to control people?" I'm like, "No, it's not. It's a very valid form of helping people. It's been used for a long time by therapists, by Jungian psychologists, but doesn't the fact that maybe it's a little weird, like a little messed up, doesn't that make you want to try it even more?"
Does it?
And
That's for
yeah.
sure.
And
Because
you know
somebody
what?
else
That one
hasn't gotten
works.
control of it, right?
Yeah. Embrace the weirdness of the fact
Exactly.
that we do something that is different for people. So I
Well,
found
out there, there's a lot of folks out there that
Mhm.
want a structured and helpful approach.
Absolutely. And I did talk therapy for a long time, and I love my former therapist. But I have to say, doing a lot of hypnosis over the last year changed me a lot more than 7 years of talk therapy did. That's
Hmm.
not to say talk therapy is not helpful. That's not to say there aren't clients who have come to me and told me what they're working on, and I have referred them out to talk therapists because I have
Hmm.
said, this is not what I think I can help you with in hypnotherapy. But talking about things doesn't necessarily change your brain, and hypnotherapy does.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing that I like to say to clients, since we were talking about that, a lot of folks will say, isn't it
Mm,
mind control? I don't want someone to control my mind. And I think a really good response to that is that actually hypnosis is mind control, but it's you. You get to retain control over your mind in the
mm,
areas where you felt like you've lost control.
yeah.
So I think that there is a reframe there that makes a lot of sense to tell
Yeah.
them, right?
Mm,
Awesome, awesome. Is there a client story that you can share with us about
mm.
one of your clients getting some success?
Yeah, I had such an interesting session recently, and I would love to share the story because I do think it plays into that personal empowerment thing that we just spoke of. All hypnosis is self-hypnosis. And
Yep.
when people are in that hypnotic state, they do know what they need. And I think as hypnotherapists, something that we really practice is keeping our own egos out of it. Maybe someone sits down and I can see from a bird's eye view, at least in my ego, what I think the problem is. But there's never a time where I'm going to say that until they come to that conclusion themselves. And then we're writing the suggestion, and then it's going back to them.
Right.
Because I don't know, my ego might be wrong. It's probably wrong. I had a client who came to me for procrastination. We ended up having a very unique session together, a spontaneous spirit releasement, which was not something I thought would happen at all.
Uh-huh.
And he ended the session early in a hypnotic state. We had an hour, 45 minutes in, his eyes are closed. I'm done. I'm never going to procrastinate again. Are you sure? Nope. I still get texts from this person. Hey, I don't procrastinate. This is awesome. So I love people. I'm not trying to control you. There's no part of me
Right.
that is trying to get in there. What I'm trying to do is give you control back. And this person had lost control of a part of their lives. They're a wonderful person. They're a brilliant, creative person. They had
Mhm.
lost control of this part of their lives. And in 45 minutes,
Got it back.
there's no and then it's over. Then I
Yeah.
step back too. If they're saying it's good, we're all good. And that is a big difference, I think, between hypnotherapy and talk therapy as well, as I'm not like, I better see you in a week. It's same
Right.
as the compulsive spending. You got your results, go
You're
live.
gone. Yeah. And that's usually the best case scenario is when a client comes in and says, I don't need to be here anymore. I think I'm done.
Mm,
It's so freeing. And I've had students who say, Erica, that extra session, or don't we want to only have 4 sessions if it's going to be four? And if your client comes in for the fifth session and they say they're done, then you did something wrong. And I just don't subscribe to that thinking because, in my experience, when clients perceive that they are done, even if they perceive that they're done a session early, let's say, the experience is so overwhelmingly positive for them. On top of the fact that
hmm
there's always things that we can do in hypnosis to take what they wanted from us and take it a step further beyond
hmm
what they had wanted. There's always technically things that we can do to further their
Absolutely.
experience, right?
But it's also just honoring the fact that this is for you and the client knows best. And as much as we're like, what we're doing has such a deep and rich history in Jungian psychology, in that the truth is the individual and it all comes from their experience. And we are facilitators and guides on that way. And I read a very interesting story that Jung has with a client where he worked with someone for 9 years knowing what that person's problem was, but the person would not say it. The person would not, was very evasive. And the person ended up ending the work and writing him a letter and thanking him for the space that he gave him for 9 years. So it's, yes, it's cool to have these stories where someone ended it in 45 minutes and it solved a huge problem for them. I've also had clients where I've worked with them for months and they are not ready to address it. And we go very slowly. And those have been incredibly meaningful experiences
Yeah.
when you finally build that trust that they will go there with you. And it can be a very slow process. So it's that lack of goal, that lack of, we'll do this every week until we see that happens. It's that we're going to take a journey together until we get to your destination. And I don't
Yeah.
care how long it takes. It's about you.
The, yeah. And so many clients need to go slow because of trauma or whatever other things are happening, and or they need to learn anti-anxiety, or they need to have other coping strategies, or the ability to
Mm,
sleep because those are the things that are preventing them in the past from doing some of this work on their own. If we're saying all of the answers are inside of us, then of course it's conceivable that our clients can just get this information themselves. So what's preventing
hmm
them up till this point? Stress, anxiety, all sorts of things, limiting beliefs, all of that type of stuff. Yeah, we get to help reduce all of that. And in the midst of all this, as you're teaching them the emotional acceptance technique, now they're learning
hmm
about their emotions and they're learning how to address kind of things in real time, right?
Yeah. And to the point of why can't people just do this on their own? A, we all need help. We all need help from each other. Community is something that is so important and that is being so lost in this day and age. There's nothing wrong with needing other people to help guide you on your journey. All the answers are inside of us, but we can't do it all ourselves. And that transcends just mental health things. That's every area of life. We need to rely on other people as well. And the other is we are really not taught about our brain, about our
Right.
emotions, to question why we do the things the way we do them. We're, in fact, so taught just to listen and respond to a status quo and to hide ourselves and to not acknowledge how we feel in the face of systems that are bigger than us. So, of
That's right.
course, we need this help to access that subconscious mind. A lot of people profit from controlling our subconscious mind. And
Well,
that's
that's the
not,
people pleaser. That's what you were
yeah.
saying. That's the beginning of how we started this whole thing is people
Mhm,
who are people pleasers who are just going
mhm.
to respond in a way that keeps everyone happy instead of
Yeah.
telling the truth.
And would the a corporation have any interest in a person having sovereignty over their subconscious mind when they can like sell a lot of Doritos and Cheez-Its by having
Absolutely.
control over someone's subconscious mind? And that's, I think, what really it comes down to with taking back control is your subconscious mind is so powerful and so wonderful and such hot property that a lot of people actually want control over it. Yeah.
That's right.
We
Because any advertiser, propaganda, they all want your attention. They all want to persuade us in one way or the other to buy
Mhm.
something, vote in a particular way, say something, not say something, right?
Yeah. And that's where the hypnotherapist and the stereotype that we're mind controllers, it's no, we're trying to give that control back to you. We are
That's right.
disrupting the control cycle. And that is, I think so much comes from these childhood experiences too, and these little ways in which control is asserted by someone else and a limiting belief pops in. And it's just a running program that's running all the time. And to come in and say, we're going to end that circuit. We're going to end that circuit and we're going to program this in a way that you actually want it to run, in a way that actually serves you.
Beautiful. I love it. What would you like your listeners out here, any listeners listening, to know about themselves?
To know about themselves. I would love for people to know that there is absolutely nothing wrong with them.
Yeah.
Really, it comes down to that is so important to me, working in the field of recovery, working in the field of substance abuse,
Yeah.
working with people who are people pleasers, which is like all of these are really close to my heart. All of these experiences, people really beat themselves up. People are really hard on themselves and they really feel there is something fundamentally wrong with them. And I
Yeah.
tell you, I work with these people on an individual basis and I work with these people in groups in really creative ways. And these people are kind, they're hilarious, they're loving. I really believe that the average person, the vast majority of people are really wonderful. And I say that working with a lot of people every week who I am meeting them on the worst day of their lives. And that's recovery,
Yeah.
but it's also hypnosis. People come to us when they're out of options. No, people don't go to hypnosis first. We meet people in rock bottom situations. The grace and the kindness and the love and the creativity that I see in these people at the lowest points in their lives inspires me every day. I could cry talking about this. There's nothing wrong with you. If you
Mm-hmm.
feel there's something wrong with you, know that is a belief in your brain that is inaccurate. It's not true. I want to help you reprogram that. That's my goal in life is to help people see how wonderful they are, to be honest.
The Amplify Hypnosis Method, metacognition, brainwave training, and deep transformation. Visit us online at cascadehypnosistraining.com/amplify or scan the QR code to get started. Yeah, that's beautiful, Olivia. Thank you for all the work that you do and continue to do, helping people live their best life, get rid of all of these things in their life that aren't serving them anymore. How can people find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can email me at yarohypnosis@gmail.com. I feel that is perhaps the most inconvenient way to tell you to contact me. Yarrow, Yarrow, hypnosis@gmail.com. Yarrow is a healing flower. Many years ago, a very close friend of mine told me that he pulled a medicine card for me and it was the yarrow plant. And he was like, I know that you're going to be a healer. And when you have your practice, it's going to be called like yarrow healing. And so
Cool.
that's what I do. I'm Yarrow Hypnosis, and he has struggled a lot with substance abuse issues. And he is a wonderful person who struggles with childhood trauma, who struggles with these behaviors that feel out of control. And I love this person a lot, and their belief in me has always meant the world to me. So I want to name my company after him to honor
Oh, that's
him.
very thoughtful and meaningful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Olivia. Thank you so much for being here
Mhm.
today and sharing your
Yeah.
wisdom and your
Hmm.
insights. It's really
Yeah.
hopeful to hear how you're helping people and how important the message of there's nothing wrong with you and how we can, seemingly if there's big issues and trauma and all of this stuff, The answers are within you. And we have the skills and the tools to help people feel better right away, sometimes really short. And when our clients
Hmm.
decide to make a change, hypnosis can reveal that and really help them align, right? What they think and know
Hmm.
with in their heart, how they feel. And when we get that alignment, sometimes things just click into play and there's no turning back, which to our clients, it can feel
Absolutely.
effortless, right?
And I think to people who are considering hypnosis and are maybe unsure if it's something, just know that when you're in that hypnotic state, very different things feel possible. As someone who's done a lot of hypnosis and been the receiver of wonderful hypnotherapy, things that might feel impossible to address, to deal with when you're in that hypnotic state, when you're being guided with love and compassion. I will also plug really quick, if you enjoy the sound of my voice, I do
Mhm.
have a YouTube channel where I do blend my comedy and my hypnotic skills and do sleep stories and ASMR. It is squonky time. I'm realizing that all of my IP is very hard to spell.
We'll
So
put it up on the screen.
SQ,
So we'll put it up
it's
on the screen.
fantastic. And you can
Yeah.
find my sleep stories there if you
Oh,
find
sleep
my voice
story.
comforting.
Oh, Olivia, yes, beautiful sleep stories too. What a loving thing to do for folks so that they can gently fall to sleep and feel peaceful. And so, everybody, please check out Olivia's YouTube channel and make sure to email her if you have any questions or want to work with her. She's in the Los Angeles area, but I'm sure you work online too, right,
I
Olivia?
do, even
Yeah.
if I'm working with people locally, it's all on Zoom these
Okay,
days.
great.
Yeah, and also it just gives, there's been a pool being cleaned right outside my apartment, and Zoom takes care of that noise. So it's just a better experience for all.
Thank you, Olivia, so much for being here today. I'm Erica Flint. This is Living Hypnotically, and I invite you to come visit us at canyoubeahypnotist.com. Download a copy of my best-selling book on becoming a professional hypnotist and join us for a live masterclass. We teach our hypnosis certification training course once a quarter, and I would love to see you in the hypnosis classroom soon. Thanks again, Olivia.
Yes,
Bye for
thank you
now,
so much,
everybody.
Erica. Bye.